Morning. For this week's journal entry, I'm going to have you go through these two PDFs that really dive into outdoor learning. And one approach from this PDF called A Teacher's Guide to Bringing the Learning Outdoors. Here it is, Bringing Learning Outside. So this one really goes into all the various ways what we're doing with children in terms of specific areas we might be looking to address regarding various topics. I mean, if you look up here, you'll see nature pedagogy, successful outings outside, weather tips, what to wear outside, literacy and numeracy, cultivating wonder, the value of risky play, which we've gone into quite a bit, how to pitch outdoor play and learning in school. So this might be really helpful for anyone who has an owner of their center or director or principal that really objects to a lot of outdoor time, which you're going to be pushing for. So this could be really helpful. We know about routines, rituals, and traditions, and then looking at how we have kids who may have differing needs outside and how we set them up for success. So you can look here and see what they call the 4 entry points for pedagogy in the outdoors. So just read those over. Look at the different kinds of spaces and how they're used in the outdoors, what the role of the student and adult are, and then here's some examples. So just go through these pieces, and under each section make some notes that you think will be useful to you in the future. If you're planning to do your activity outside, you can reference these when you create it and reflect on it. These are just some very practical suggestions. How do you document outside? So if you're doing your activity plan outside, this could be a really helpful piece. Suggestions about what kids can be doing outside, looking at the weather, all the suggestions there. So what I would like for you to do with this particular PDF, we're going to go all the way through because there's so much. This is just loaded with great pictures and examples, other resources you can link to. We've talked a lot about risky play, so you can scroll through that. But I do think it's really helpful to maybe make a few notes about what you see could be helpful in terms of your own pitching this, if you have the need to do that. If you don't right now, you might in the future. So be sure you have ways of talking to parents and other teachers and your supervisors who may say you can't be outside that much. So also note here, there's still information about COVID, but what's still true, even though we don't pay much attention to COVID anymore, is that being outside is healthier. You're not as in close contact with all viruses and germs. So that's something that you might want to, note, that it's also very healthy for children to be outside. And pediatricians often prescribe outdoor time for kids. So here's some definitions that might help you with what outdoor play is, your role. Here's some things to think about. Again, I just want you to take these sections and make some notes that make sense to you and that you think are especially important to remember. Especially looking at this, setting kids up for success outside is really, really important. Make sure you have these steps outlined so that it's clear to me that you understand them. These are situations that are very real, and I want to make sure you highlight those. Then there are some scenarios that you want to think about. I did do a lot of tree climbing with my kids. I didn't go up in the tree with them, but I did allow tree climbing in Waldorf schools, especially. That's not only permitted, it's encouraged. So here are some things about that specific area. Stick play, another specific area. Snowballs. I don't know if we'll have snow in Kentucky. It makes me very sad because of climate change, but maybe one day. So please go through and use these table of contents pieces as kind of a guide for your headings, and make sure you make notes under each one that really will serve your teaching. Focus completely on that. And make sure you've documented things that are specific, like how do you help kids with these kinds of behaviors that can create unsuccessful experiences for everybody. And I see so many times everybody has to go in because one child cannot manage. And I would like for you to really rethink those kinds of things and look at how they outline very specific things you can do. If you know other things because of your own experiences, please also include those. Those will be, I would love to read those myself. I have taught in the outdoors quite a bit my entire career. I was actually a camp counselor, and I worked in the rainforests in Colombia and South America, way up in the mountains with kids. So I've had a lot of experience working with kids in the outdoors. I founded 2 school gardens at 2 schools where I worked that were food to table gardens. And so I've got really strong feelings that kids are not outside anymore enough, and that it's a real problem for us as teachers. So because I, as a teacher, was able to I could have my class outside all day. When I taught kindergarten, I brought everything we were doing outside for the day. So, things have changed, obviously. But I do want you to know that that was possible. And of course, you're going to a forest school where you're going to see kids that are outside all the time. And you can look at that in terms of what you learn here. I do want to emphasize that this guidebook looks at the continuum. It looks at, different types of playgrounds, types of gardens, different experiences kids can have in the outdoors. So sometimes your school may only let you have a tiny little garden outside, which gives you an excuse to go outside. So at any rate, I hope this is inspiring to you, because it's a wonderful opportunity for you to learn in great depth. I love what they have done up in Canada with this whole, area of outdoor learning.